Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I figure once the music stops, right? Good evening, everyone. My name is Ralph Casals, town manager of the town of Cutler Bay, and I actually wrote that down, so that's my name. Welcome to tonight's State of the Town 2024 State of the Town address for Mayor Meerbot. We're going to have a great program tonight. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and have the honor guard please present the colors. Please rise.
Eric. And after March. March. Ready? Face. Ready? Ball.
Thank you. Please remain standing as I call up the Girl Scout Troop 526, led by Scout Leader Z and Kelly Marshall. Okay, let's see. Who? You want on it? You want on it?
Green net. Arm.
Go ahead.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Troop 526.
Arm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as I call up Alicia Felias to join us at the front to perform the national anthem.
Green net. Arm.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. Please remain standing as the honor guard retires the colors. Honor guard, please retire the colors.
Mark time, mark. Ready, face. Forward, march.
Thank you. You may be seated. Tonight's State of Town address is going to highlight a lot of our accomplishments, but we want to try to keep the program within a 4-hour limit. So I gave the mayor the clip notes, but before we start, I'd like to recognize some individuals before the mayor comes up. First and foremost, my wife Martha Casals. I actually had to write down wife because we just got married after 25 years. So mayor, finally, thank you. I also like to recognize my amazing town staff. So I know staff members are out here. Please stand up. I also like to recognize my fellow colleague, Ziri Kawaba. If I butchered your name, sorry, Ziri. City Manager, City of Homesick. Thank you, Ziri, for coming. Also, I'd like to recognize Palmetto Bay Village Clerk, Missy Arocha. Sorry. Javay Clayton, Chief of Staff, Commissioner Cohen Higgins' office. Mia Devane, Government Liaison for Mayor Levine Caba's office. Also, we have Cheryl Moscow from Miami-Dade County Transit. Cheryl, back there. Also, I'd like to recognize Blake Hall, Executive Director, CHI South Dade. Blake. And as I mentioned last year, I've had the privilege to work with the mayor since its corporation, and it's amazing work. I mean, it just continues and relentless. I always tell people, he does have another job, so every time of the day, any time of the day, it's great to see the mayor always available. I'm like, I'll sit there and text him, sorry, can you call me one more time, So I try to squeeze in all those conversations. So with that, I like to have the privilege and honor to recognize Mayor Mirabod and have him come up.
Life is easy when you have a town manager like Ralph Casal. So Ralph, thank you very, very much. All right. So Ralph said, this is my 6th year doing this, Ralph. Yeah, something like that, right? You'd think I'd get better at it, but I won't. The only difference is this year I decided not to have a written speech. So, which means we could be very brief or very long, but I'm guessing more on the brief side. So that's my gift to all of you. So we'll try to get to it as soon as we can. So there's no applause for that. Come on. First of all, I want to thank every single one of you for joining us here today. Our theme this year is resilient roots and a thriving future. And when me and Ralph were discussing what did we want to talk about this year, what is our theme? And I thought that's something that would really resonate with so many here, because, if you think about at least my history in Cutler Bay, which it was Cutler Ridge back then, when my mother, who's back over there, honey, Mom, how are you? Good to see you. I think she brought me here in 1965 or 4, somewhere. It was a long time ago. I don't remember the day I arrived, but But back then, many of us arrived back then. It was a small community which was really in support of Homestead Air Force Base. Like I know Susie Lord and Vice Mayor Callahan also were from families that were at the Air Force Base. But there's just so many families that are rooted here for so long. And when we became incorporated, a lot of people were fearful of what would become of Cutler Bay. But I would say things have improved. Things have gotten better. And when you look to the future, it's a really bright future. So I'm really, really excited about that. So. The reason that I think that the future is so bright is because so many of the people that have served on the council, so many people who are supporting the council, so many of the residents care deeply about this community. And that their passion, and I'm going to use that word a lot, not too many politicians use the word love of community, is something which I think is evident in every single one of the council members I have had the pleasure to work with. And this council is, I don't say not an exception, but probably one of the highlights of my career working as a representative of the town of Cutler Bay with this team. So I'd like to go ahead and take a moment to introduce this team to you, because this is not just an individual effort by all means. I'm going to start off with somebody I probably have known the longest. I've met him in 1976. He had no sense of humor back then. He still doesn't have a sense of humor, but we put up with him anyway. But he is one of the, he's become a little bit of a grumpy old man on the council up here because he questions everything, but that's what you really want. You want somebody who's going to question everything. So without a doubt, I want to go ahead and welcome my good friend and our Vice Mayor, Michael Callahan. If you could please join me. You want to know what he said? All right. Next up, again, somebody who's been in the community a long time. And I think let's see, this is 6th year as well, sitting on the council. And you talk about, again, you're going to see this resilient roots. He's been here a long time and a bright future, because him and his beautiful wife also have children that they're raising here in Cutler Bay. So our good friend, BJ Duncan, if you could please join me up here. All right. Another individual I've known for a long time, though I didn't know her in high school. Well, I knew who she was, but we went to the same high school. And again, somebody who's got deep roots in the community, raised her children here. I actually coached one of her children in baseball about 100 years ago. But just goes to show you the type of community we have, where that's where that love and respect and appreciation for each other comes from. So without a doubt, our Susie Lord from District 2, come on up, Susan. And last and least, I mean, wait a minute, last but not least, the one that I like to give the most ribbing to, because he can take it. He's the newest member to our council. Also, you know, he's done a lot of things. He's not only served this community, but he's also served as a first responder for us. He also served in the military. So he's got all the bases covered. Now he's serving us here in the town of Cutler Bay. He's a great addition to our team. So Councilman Rick Ramirez, if you could. All right. Now I'm looking around the room to see how many other people have the fortunate position of being able to serve their community. And I see a couple people. And when I see our mayor from the town of Homestead, Mayor Steve Losner, is here with his wife here. So welcome, Steve. I also see the mayor from our neighbor town of Palmetto Bay, which I call our sister city. We get along there. Mayor Cunningham, thank you for being here. I see a school board member sitting right over there. Miss Santos, there she is right there. Say hello. Have I missed any other elected officials that are here with us? No, speak now and don't, no, please stop. No, okay. All right. again, we work closely with all the elected officials. And again, not just the sister cities, we get together. We try to get together once a month to talk about regional issues, but we're a very cohesive team in South Dade trying to address all the issues that are affecting all of South Dade, working with all of our county partners. Many of those things, I appreciate you being there. Also on the state level and the federal level as well. So, but I haven't missed anybody else. I just wanted to mention a couple people. I talk about what makes us successful in Cutler Bay. It's the relationship when we go up to Tallahassee and we get to see Alexis Calatayud, who's our senator, and Alina Garcia, who's our state rep, and we get to tell them about our needs, and they welcome us and they listen to us. It doesn't stop there either. When I go up to Washington, and then you're able to go ahead and get in the offices of our Senator Rick Scott and Congressman Maria Salazar, they welcome us in as well, and they sit down and listen to our issues about what's going on down here. So it's really, really important. I've already mentioned Louisa over there, our school board member, very receptive to talk about the things that how we can partner to make our community a better place. So just want to thank all of the elected officials for working together with us to make Cutler Bay the great city that it is. So. I mentioned him earlier, but he is without a doubt the best town manager in all of South Florida, if not the world. His wife made me say that because she also said to tell him it's about time. So I'm really happy for you and congratulations again. One of our other charter officials is our town clerk. And I've worked with him for a long time, and I'm very, very that he's our town clerk. He's very efficient. He's working. There he is, right there in the front. He's a little shorter than I thought he was in person, but so Mauricio, thank you for everything that you do. You're an amazing town. We have a number of town attorneys that represent us. One has been here for a very, very long since the beginning, and it's not the legal advice that he gives us. It's really just his perception of this thing, his contacts, his ability to open up communication with other people that we deal with. And you know what? Open communication is a much better way to resolve issues in litigation. So I want to thank Mitch Bierman as our town attorney. We also have representing us from the same firm who happens to be a town of Cutler Bay resident, and Roger Poe. Thank you for that. Who also is building a future here. He's got a family that he started of his own here. So congratulations on that. So, and of course we have Allison Smith also that represents us. So thank you, Allison. We have a lot of volunteers that help us get things done here. So there's so many that I can't name them all. So if you've ever volunteered in the town of Cutler Bay, could you please just stand with just for a moment so I can recognize you? There's a lot of you there. Don't be shy. There you go. All right. And of course, there we go. And be without a doubt, I have to mention again, our newest unpaid staff member for the town of Cutler Bay as of October last year is my beautiful wife, Natalie Mirbot. And that's what my vice mayor told me to remember. Don't forget to recognize your wife. So
Been around a long time.
okay. And of course, I'd be remiss. Again, I talked about my roots. And I talked about my present and the future of Cutler Bay. Ella, could you get on that stair and wave hi to everybody real quick? You know, that's my granddaughter, Ella, who lives in Cutler Bay. Wave hi, Ella. She is 3, and I know you're saying she can't be that young because you can't get that pretty in that many years. So, but she's adorable. So, and finally, I'd like to thank all the residents of Cutler Bay because you really are what makes this a special community. It's the feel of community in Cutler Bay is unlike any else. Okay. The feel of Cutler Bay is unlike any other in South Florida. If you go anywhere else, you can see a difference. There's so many people that I've talked to that moved here from Kendall. It's like, I lived next door to somebody for years and never talked to them. I moved here for 3 months and I already know like 14 people. So that's what we're about. Again, getting to know each other, caring about each other and appreciating each other. So you are the residents of Cutler Bay. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for making this a great community. Thank you for letting us serve you. So thank you for being here. I talked about some of our partnerships and thankfully, one of our great partners, our state senator, Alexis Calatayud, just walked in. So Alexis, if you'd like to come and sit down. Welcome. So, all right. So we have a growing bunch of great events in Cutler Bay, and we could thank. Did I mention our staff? I didn't mention my staff, did I? Did I mention all the staff? I didn't mention all the staff. I know Ralph did, but I just want to say thank you again. Our town events, our public works department, our police department, all of them just work seamlessly together to make this a great place. And this is one of those events that they're doing, but it's not just them alone because we also have a lot of gold sponsors. I'd like to mention our gold sponsor was the Baptist Health of South Florida, Galvin Giordano and Associates, the Corradino Group, Eldorado Furniture, Electro America, Encompass Health Rehabilitation, Goldstein Environmental Law, Visualscape, and Weiss, Sirota, Hoffman, Cole, and Bierman. Those are our gold sponsors. Our silver sponsors are Acosta Tractors. Thank you very much. And our brown sponsors are Bell Tower Consulting Group, HCA Florida Cutler Bay Emergency, Rubenstein Family Chiropractic, RJ Behar and Company, Cortland Construction, Saltz Michelson Architects, and TechPert. So thank you all for all of our sponsors. We were able to raise over $28,000 in excess funds, which is going to be deposited into our community fund. And as you know, our community fund really just helps the community, nonprofits in the community. So we're really glad that you'd be there. So but thank you again, all the sponsors, all the people for being here. So let me get right into the state of the town. You've heard it many, many times. Okay. When it says, what is the state of town? The town is in good shape. Okay. But that's obvious. But it's not just that obvious. Again, I talked briefly about the relationship we have with the other elected officials in the state and federal level. Just some of the numbers. Congressman Maria Salazar secured $1 million for Saga Bay improvements. All right, that's in addition to the $4 million that she secured for us last year. That's $5 million that she helped us make Cutler Bay a better place. Our Senator Alexis Calatayud and Representative Elena Garcia, this year they got $2 million towards drainage projects and $900,000 towards Marlin Road design. So, you know, drainage projects are really, really important. So are nice roads. So thank you for all the work that you do up in Tallahassee. Do appreciate that. At a more local level, we have our Commissioner, Danielle Cohen-Higgins, and Gervais, you're back there representing her office. That is just a great relationship. They've got funding for us for development for a PD&E development and environment study, and also a study for a pedestrian bridge for the new South Place City Center, which is going to be going in over here. So that'll help get people from one side of the road to the other without having to go through 6 lanes of traffic. So those kind of things, and not to mention all the other things that she's gone to battle for us. You know, whether it's a bridge or the homeless trust, she's always there asking what we need and representing us and above herself. And I just have to really, she does a great job for us. So thank you very, very much for that. We talk about something that used to be really important to our residents, which is financial transparency. And I think we're very, very financial transparent. This year, we were able to return to our fund balance $3.7 million. So now we're up to $26 million in our fund balance. 6 years ago, we weren't in that great shape. But because of a very aggressive plan, we were able to rebuild those funds, put Cutler Bay in a much better position. We're no longer dipping into reserves to pay our bills. And I think that's very, very important. We successfully completed a Citizens Independent Trust audit, which underscores our fiscal prudence. It also oversees the use of our gas tax, which are funds towards roadway projects and transportation services. Another example of our financial transparency is this year we had 3 budget workshops in addition to the 2 state mandated budget hearings. So we had 5 opportunities for people to understand what's going on with our finances and give their input. So I just think that's something that we want to do to make sure that we're not hiding anything. Everything's above board. And, we need your opinions. Again, it's not just up to make the decisions, it's up to the community to make these decisions. So, you talk about grassroots efforts. Recently, we had a little, I'll call it a tiff with the Homeless Trust and on the redevelopment of the La Quinta. And the community just stepped up and for a grassroots efforts, which made it almost impossible for them to ignore. And because of that, what we had at first was like, hey, listen, we have the right to do it. We're going to do it. To change to is like, all right, we're going to do it, but we're going to put some very safe covenants in there. So though it may not be what you want, at least there's going to have some covenants going to protect the community. There were rumors of needle exchanges and outreach programs for drug addicts and male felons or whatever it may be, to something that's committed to seniors only, and with a lot of safeguards for the community, on-site management, those type of things. So something that could have been a very much of a negative, it's actually turned into a positive. And that's because of the grassroots efforts that you did. And we just want to say thank you for that, because that happens again and again and again. So we're talking about our future, but we have to talk a little bit about what has happened. For example, in the last 3 years, our property values have gone up 34%. Okay. Now, granted, we had inflation that ate away a little bit of that, but 34% increase in property values is amazing. It just goes to show you the value that Cutler Bay has and is going to continue to have. We are no longer just I used to call us the blue collar, forgotten about people of the South, and we're not. We're someplace where people want to live and raise their families now. And not that we didn't want to before, but now everybody knows. So, and I think that's a great thing. So, and the best part, more important, we talked about resiliency. We have been able to maintain our millage rate again at the low rate of 2.88833 per $1,000 assessed value. And we're, I think, the ninth lowest in the county out of the 36 cities, 34 cities. So think about that. There's, we have much more affluent communities that are right around the range of us, but we're really, really low compared to many of our sister cities. So we are very efficient. We are one of the most efficient governments in all of Florida. We've been recognized by the state legislature as being one of the most efficient governments in all of Florida. Matter of fact, we were ranked #1 at one point as being the most efficient government. We also were ranked #1 for having the most efficient staff. So that's a testament to you, Ralph, and the rest of your community. Now, we know that everything's not always rosy. If any of you happen to be watching the news last night or this morning, or if any of you happen to be with your children at one of our local parks playing baseball, you recognize that there was an incident. And I just want to let everybody know, I don't think that Cutler Bay is an unsafe situation going on right there. We're waiting for the Miami-Dade Police Department to continue their investigation into this. But that park's been a safe place for many, many years. We have a great police department. We're going to wait to see what they say about this, and we're continue to work for them to make sure that we have safe parks for all of our citizens. So, and I think it's really important to recognize that our crime rate in the town of Cutler Bay has decreased approximately 30.3% over the past 3 years. So thank you, Leo, and your team. And just a great question. I mentioned one of our partners earlier, and she wasn't here to accept the accolades that I gave her, but Alina Garcia has joined us. So Alina, welcome. Is there a state rep? Since you weren't here in person, I'll tell you, thank you for all the hard work you do in Tallahassee for us, and quite honestly, bringing the dollars back. It's really a bonus for us. Education, okay? I am an alumnus of Miami Southridge Senior High School, as is this guy here. Yeah, no, this lady here. He was at Little House on the Prairie. But Southridge is an A school. And I just want to, that's a great thing. All of our schools in Cutler Bay are rated A or B, and none is rated a C or below right now. So that's a great thing to be. Okay. If I were to ask you what makes Cutler Bay the best city in all of South Florida, probably wouldn't say our staff. You probably wouldn't say, wow, you can get a permit in only 5 days. You know, other cities, it could take you up to 4 or 5 months. You're going to say golf course. No, you're going to say our events. So we hosted 16 signature events last year. Matter of fact, at our chili cook-off, we drew over 6,000 attendees that got to hear me sing. We had a golf tournament where we raised over $17,000 for our community fund. And next year, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary of our senior game. So that's a great thing. We are so involved with our seniors. It's amazing. I know Susie is our liaison for the seniors. Does a great job. Our streets, our public works department, celebrates receiving 4 awards from the American Public Works Association for roadway and drainage projects. And projects were selected by the APWA. And this is throughout all the state of Florida. So we're recognized throughout the state of Florida. So great job with your team. Just keep on bringing great ideas forward, getting them done on time or ahead of time. And when they're done, you know, somebody from the county says working with Cutler Bay is real easy because you always have a plan before you get started. You help us execute that plan. And afterwards, we usually receive an award for it. So they like working with us. So I love that stuff. Okay. For the environment, we are creating a resilient future. I think you probably heard me say we've acquired more green space than almost anybody. I said we're the largest landowner in Old Cutler right now. And somebody criticized that. Oh, great. You're buying up a lot of land. They don't realize if we don't buy that land, it becomes houses. It becomes apartment buildings. It becomes anything but green space. And Cutler Bay is committed to making sure that we are environmentally conscious about what the future is going to be, not about just today. And we take those bold steps to move that. This council takes those bold steps to move that, to protect green space. We're working on improvements on Whispering Pines Park. We're also working on Saga Bay drainage improvements and also new courts at the Saga Bay Park with some parking as well. And we did all those things completed on time within budget. We've had 3 successful town cleanups with over 100 volunteers collecting over 1,200 pounds of trash. And we have another one coming up November 16th because apparently somebody threw something out their window again. So we got to be on top of that. So infrastructure. We are right now we have the Coastal Ridge Preserve, which is the completion of a master plan for 8.5 acres of coastal ridge preserves. And this is just an example of how our town is continuing to move forward with environmental stewardship. We've invested over $1 million in improving sidewalks to enhance connectivity. I realize some people say, hey, they haven't got to my neighborhood yet, but that's a lot of sidewalks to get to, but we're working on a plan. We're going to get to them all. Our flood insurance. You guys know we spent over $11 million on drainage projects and flood projects. We continue to do flood projects. We continue to get money from the state to do projects in Saga Bay and other areas. Because of all that work that we've done and because of all the work of our outreach and our public work department and our manager and our floodplain committee, residents in Cutler Bay are now a CRS 3. So that means you used to get $300 off your flood insurance premium every year. Now you get $523 every year off of your flood insurance premium. That's $2.9 million. So we're talking about transportation. Our Metro Connect, the free government Uber sort of thing that everybody knows it as. That's a countywide program, but 60% of the riders are in Cutler Bay. We're their poster child. We have over 55,000 trips to date on that. On our circulator bus, we have over 82,000 trips on that. So that feeds the $300 million BRT, which is almost done. You can see some of the stations now have lit up boards telling you when bus is arriving. So we're trying to make that connectivity thing a better reality. As somebody once said, you're not in traffic, you are traffic. And so we're looking for ways. So we're looking for ways that you cannot be part of that traffic anymore and just sit back and ride. So new business development. We have a new business right now. We have ACA Florida, an emergency hospital that just opened up a couple of months ago, which is doing great. If you have not been there, if you ever need emergency care, not urgent care, go there. It is amazing. They have state-of-the-art equipment, including CAT scan machines, and you are in and out in no time. My wife had to take my mother-in-law there for an issue, and she had a CAT scan results and was gone in 2 hours. It's amazing. So we also have I think I saw well, it's not in Cutler Bay, it's close by, but I just want to say we have the new owner of Chick-fil-A is finally opening up in Cutler, in the area. So I'm going to claim it. So we have Baptist Health who will be joining the new Publix Plaza, providing residents closer access to healthcare services. I think you guys have heard me say more than enough, but it's still funny every time. So it's really a pain in the butt to go to Kendall for a colonoscopy. I'd really like to get one right here in Cutler. That was the fourth time I've used that. So still funny. All right. Not that funny. Okay. Okay. Legacy Park Development, the 16 acres that we have in the heart of Cutler Bay. I've often referred to it as our Norman Rockwell project. It's going to be the heart of our community. We've selected Kaufman Lynn as our construction company to help us with what they call a guaranteed maximum price. So basically that's somebody with a calculator working with the people who are actually going to do the building and making sure that they're going to come in under budget or at budget. So we're not going to exceed that. We're going to be real prudent with our dollars and make sure they're spent in the proper way. And we felt, well, Ralph, that was a great idea to go ahead and get somebody to do that. And I think the vice mayor has some input on that. So having another expert look at it, because, quite honestly, I don't know how to build a project that big. But we had to go find somebody to help us do it to make sure that we could do it under budget. So we will be injecting over $6.5 million of the ARPA funds, which came from the federal government, into these projects to help save us the interest on the bond issues. Somebody asked me when we'll begin that project. The soil remediation will begin soon, and we're hoping to break ground in December. So we're finally get started on that thing. So just want to thank all the partners that are making that happen. I've got roughly 2 years and a couple of weeks left, and I'd like to see at least a good portion of that done before I go. Otherwise, I'm just like, oh, that was great. I saw part of it. So, but I'd also be remiss if I don't really talk about the big gorilla in the room, which is that $1.5 billion Southland Mall redevelopment. There were some hiccups when we were dealing with the homeless trust issue, but that project is now moving forward. I think they've told us that they're also going to have a groundbreaking in December as well. So all those new restaurants and 50,000 of medical office buildings and 3,000 new jobs, all that should be coming very, very soon. So the future does look really bright as far as businesses are, and also for our own parks and projects as well. We have the 53-acre Cutler Wetlands project, which is the part of an $8 million Biscayne Bay water coastal wetlands flow project. A lot of people said, what are they doing on 87th Avenue? Or I'll call them the trolls of the internet on the next door and stuff. They're building more apartments. They're doing nothing of such a thing. They're building a flowway, which will go ahead and help water move out of the areas that could flood and not just dump it into the bay, which can kill parts of the bay because it is sick, but it causes it to flow over the vegetation there, and it filters it, and it's a much healthier way to bring water into the bay. It's healthy for the bay. It helps with the flooding. It's just a win-win for everybody. So, I'm glad that they're doing that project in Cutler Bay, and I'm glad that they're helping save the bay because it is really important that we keep that on the forefront of our minds. Cutler Bay continues to be recognized as a tree city for the last 12 years, Tree City USA. And we've planted 4,129 trees since our incorporation. So thank you, Eduardo, for all the work for helping with that. So, I look at a couple of things, and I look at these people that work with me day in and day out. And I talked briefly about, the people on the internet that criticize. And I just want to take just one moment to recognize one thing. It's real easy for people on Nextdoor, Facebook, and those type of things to throw out comments. I think one recently it was complaining that I only got $1 million for Saga Bay drainage, and I'm lining my pockets because I let the La Quinta go through. And I'm like, why aren't people paying attention? But here's the good news. We have people out there, well, I'll call them trolls, that they say the negative out there, but we also have positive people out there. Like Paul Blake, who immediately called him, I was like, why would you say they're lining in their pockets? Do you have any proof? And I, as an elected official, appreciate that, because all of us are just servants up here, serving our community. We're not lining our pockets. People like Barbara Condon and Tom Condon will also step forward with those kind of things and set the record straight. Folks, don't be afraid to stand up whenever you see people being nasty. If we're doing something wrong, you hold us accountable. But if you see people being nasty, don't ignore them. Tell them, it's like, come on, folks. We need to learn to love each other and appreciate each other. We need to learn to appreciate the work that we do for each other. That's how you make a positive community. People like Rick, who's a retired firefighter. And Susie is a paralegal. We have BJ, who works in education, and our Vice Mayor Callan, who's a general contractor. These are just our part-time jobs. But the reason that we're doing it is because we care about our community deeply. And it's not easy all the time. So as a personal favor, when we're wrong, give it to us. But we're not. Please stand with us and fight against the trolls in society. You've all had to deal with them, I'm sure, at one point of your life. So so next door may not be the best way to stay engaged, may not be the best way to get information. Otherwise, you may think that we're actually building apartments out on 87th Avenue. There are much better ways to stay engaged. You can sign up for our email list. And you know what? You'll find out what's going on right away. You can call us. We are here Monday through Friday still, Ralph? Okay. All right. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Give us a call if you have any questions. We'll answer your questions. You can send us a direct message on social media. We have our public information officer, Rod, out there, is doing the best he can to get information out. I know you guys don't like my videos, but I'm going to keep doing them anyway. I like them, but anyway. We have our council meetings where you can watch online and call in. Ralph has our open mic nights. We do all we can to stay engaged with you guys, but the best way is directly with the town of Cutler Bay through our emails. Reach out. If you ever have a question, please don't listen to somebody on next door saying we're building whatever it may be. Come to the horse's mouth, as they say, and that would be Ralph. So I was one of the very first councilmen to be elected. Matter of fact, I was the first councilman to be sworn in for the town of Cutler Bay back in 2015. And next year, we're going to be celebrating 20 years as a town. And we've come such a long way. But we haven't forgot our roots. We're still connected. And we're continuing to connect with all the new residents to bring them into our community and continue to show what makes Cutler Bay the best community in South Florida. It's the people caring for each other, being tolerant of each other, and loving each other. So I kind of drifted off my script a little bit. I hope you guys don't mind. I think I've said it all, haven't I? Except for one thing, right? I rent every video with the same thing, don't I, every time? And if you guys know it, if you want to say it with me, if you don't have to. But as always, God bless America and God bless Cutler Bay. Thank you. What is Cutler Bay? You'll describe it one way. Resilient roots, a thriving future. You think about how Cutler Bay started many, many years ago in the late 50s as a town supporting an Air Force base. And now it's one of the most vibrant, livable, enjoyable communities all in South Florida to live in.
I've seen the growth of Cutler Bay as opposed to other towns. When we deal with developers, one of the things we actually kind of push a little for is them to set aside a certain amount of housing for seniors, veterans, first responders. We're looking for certain occupations that have a hard time getting money available to buy homes and housing. Here we're looking at controlled growth. We want to make sure that we try and keep that small town feeling, even though we have to expand.
Southland Mall is in the middle of $1.5 billion redevelopment. And it's going to be a regional impact, not just for Cutler Bay. I've often talked about how we have to change the dynamics in South Florida and how we have to bring the jobs down to us. This is the first real big catalyst which is going to create that type of excitement, that spark to make that fire grow stronger and stronger and makes this area one of the best areas to not only live, but also where you can work.
We've been working on this Franjo roadway improvement project for 6 years. Ever since I joined the council in 2018, it's been one of the projects that we've been working on and focusing on, and we are finally broken ground and we're working on it. I'm sure you can see some of the detours and some of the things that are a little annoying, but it's par for the course. We need to do that so that we can fix this roadway up. And I guarantee you, as soon as the Franjo roadway project is done, you will be night and day. You'll have turn lanes where we've never had turn lanes before. We'll have roundabouts. We'll have a small park. We'll have updated bus pullout bays and bus stops. We'll have new landscaping, new lighting. Everything will be much more pedestrian friendly, family friendly, and it's going to be gorgeous.
One of the mainstays of Cutler Bay has been our pool. That has also been very deep in our roots here. In fact, I swam there when I was a young kid. But because that pool has been so important to the fabric of Cutler Bay, we are building a brand new pool as part of our Legacy Park, so we can ensure that that tradition of enjoying such great pool activities will continue in Cutler Bay for years to come.
I'm really excited about a new software program that the town is currently in the final bidding stages for. It's going to be paid for by the American Rescue Plan funds. The software program will allow people to do business with the town through this program rather than having to come to Town Hall, which will be much easier for the residents. You can submit building plans online, you can rent park facilities online, and it actually brings us current with technology.
In 2005, we opened up with 8 parks. But since then, we've been able to add 5 more parks to our inventory. And these parks include Lakes by the Bay, Blue Heron Park, and Legacy Park, which will be coming soon. And just recently, the new naming of Coastal Ridge Preserve. And to even express how deeply our roots go, we have recently named our newest park Veterans Park in honor of our military connection with Homestead Air Force Base throughout the years.
I was very proud to be one of the votes allowing the town to purchase 3.5 acres off of 87th Avenue in Old Cutler, which will remain a passive park. It's now called Veterans Park, and part of that acquisition has now led the town to being the largest landowner on Old Cutler, with us owning 28 acres of property.
Since we've incorporated in 2005, we've received close to $60 million in grants from various agencies from the state of Florida, the federal government, Miami-Dade County, and this $60 million we have used to improve our infrastructure, stormwater retention, improving our streets, improving our sidewalks, improving our parks by adding lighting.
All of the changes that we're seeing around this town, especially as it pertains to roadways, sidewalks, parks, all these improvements that people are going to feel. No taxes increased, no property taxes increased. The fiscal transparency that we take is out of this world. We have this financial transparency portal on our website so that any resident, any person really who wants to know every single dollar that we spent, every check that's written, where it's going, it's available online. They can look at what we're doing and know that we're working in their best interest to move the town forward and create this resilient, thriving community of the future.
So I'm very proud that this town has programs instituted for all ages. We have a summer STEM camp that's free to about 40 of our residents' children. At the end of it, some of them are actually certified in coding. It's a fantastic robotic camp. We have an active adults program that I'm very proud of. We have sometimes up to 50 or 60 events a month for the active adults. We have Olympic watch parties, game day, lunch and learns, art classes, Zumba classes. Our after-school program is incredible. I take that as an opportunity to teach them about civic involvement, which is very important.
Just some of the small things that make Cutler Bay an even better place to live. I mean, number one, quality schools. Schools here are amazing, and they're getting better. policing. We have a great policing unit, keeping Cutler Bay safe, crime is low, quality of life is good.
But we've also listened to our residents on their needs as well. And as you may be aware, recently we opened up 6 brand new pickleball courts that are now happily being used by all of our residents.
We also have a golf cart parade, Halloween, Christmas. This thing continues to grow and grow and grow. I think the last one had over 300 carts, which is amazing. We just had the Hispanic Heritage event that we had at the park, which was probably double the attendance from last year. And we're hoping next year, double again.
Franjo Road is an example, a perfect example of getting information from the residents, community input, and transforming that into success. So we had our Complete Streets Master Plan in 2017. It was workshopped, it was brought to the community, lots and lots of input as far as where the residents wanted to see improvement, how we can improve how we move around this town. We're also working on Marlin Road, and moving forward, we're gonna have multiple other projects that we're gonna be trying to tackle so that the overall experience within the town is completely transformed just by listening to the input of our residents.
The exciting part is many of you have been very much involved so far. You're coming to a lot of our sessions that we have, all of our town events, but there's other ways you can really stay in touch. Now we know you have Nextdoor and Facebook and all those other things, and quite honestly, sometimes there's a lot of misinformation, but if you really want to get the straight information, the easiest way is to come straight to the source, right? The town has our own Facebook page, we have an Instagram account, we have a Twitter X account, we do new YouTube videos to keep you informed, we have a newsletter, we try to get through things out through the community newspaper. It's real simple. If you want to stay in touch with us, all you got to do is go on our town website, register, and we'll make sure you're involved with everything. We're going to continue to work on our future together, because we know where we're going to go. It's going to be a great place. We're going to go together. So I've said it once or twice, and hopefully you've listened to me. But God bless America, and God bless Cutler Bay.
What a great video. This is the first time the mayor and council actually saw the video. So I saw a lot of shaking heads. I didn't see anybody throwing anything at me. So thank you. I also like to thank our communication manager and also the White Lion video production company, actually a local firm here that live in Cutler Bay. So with that, again, on behalf of the mayor and council, thank you. Now comes the fun part, right? We have a nice social gathering outside. We have folks are welcome to bring their food inside, come go outside, listen to the live the trio there that we have, and enjoy the festivities and mingle. So thank you.